Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I am your online community manager, and today we have a good episode. I mean, I'd never tell you we have a bad episode, but trust me, today's is pretty good. First of all, you're going to get to meet JJ. JJ is new to Genesys, but a big fan of the Q&A show, and he's going to be bringing back the Newsflash segment that we used to do. What's that? Great question. It's where we talk about the top 5 things that you, as a Genesys Cloud user, need to know going into the month of July. Pretty cool. He's also going to answer a few questions in the community. Then, and I'm really excited about this, we get to visit with our old friend Marcela. Marcela is having a scavenger hunt going on in the WEM community, and she wants to give you all the details on how you can participate and win some exam vouchers that are going to be available. So why wait? It's a full episode. I promised you it's going to be pretty good. Let's see if I can keep that promise and get started. JJ, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Matt. Good. Yourself?
Good, doing well. I'm always curious. I don't know if you watch a cartoon called Bob's Burgers, but it's one of my favorite shows. And one of the characters is JJ, and it stands for Jimmy Jr. I was just curious, do you mind telling us what the JJ stands for in your name?
It's Jimmy Jr. No, it's Jason James.
Did you say Justin or Jason Jones?
It's Jason James, yeah. Hey, the story goes that when I joined Genesys like 6 months ago, my boss is Jason. So to save confusion, he said, hey, what are we going to call you? My middle name is James after my granddad. So it's JJ.
That's
there you
cool.
go.
That's really cool, yeah. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about your position, what you're doing, all of that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm part of what we call the Spark team, which is a small collection of strategic sales consultants. And we really support the business, many units across the business in promoting awareness of products. Genesys Cloud, we pretty much focus on Genesys Cloud. But so, for example, I'm helping you out on this show. We can do events all around the globe. We do a lot of demos for people that need in-depth demos for opportunities and for product awareness. So you can imagine we get pulled from pillar to post. So it's exciting and it's really varied, which is cool.
Well, it's a great overview. Excited to have you on the team. More excited to have you on the show. Let's go ahead and hop in and answer some questions in the community. What do you say?
Let's go for it. Cool.
So the first question that you wanted to discuss today comes to us from Jason, who wanted to know about evaluations. Jason writes, hi there. Is there a view or a report that displays comments, agents' notes on their evaluation? As it is now, my team leader has to go into all of the evaluation forms she sends to see if the agent responded to the evaluation feedback. That's a really interesting question. I definitely don't have the answer, but that's why we have smart people like JJ on the show.
Yeah, it's a really good question, that one, Matt. So Jason raises a really good point, and it's a feature that has been raised once before to the development crew here at Genesys Cloud. So users basically, from an admin perspective, it is quite challenging to see when an agent has accepted, reviewed, and commented on an evaluation. So that's something that's now been submitted and accepted to the dev team as of the 15th of Jan. So hopefully that will be coming to the product very, very soon. I can't give you a timeline on that. You know, product working in priority order, and security and other means come first. But yeah, if I can share my screen. So here's the ticket. You can see that actually feedback from the dev team is pretty cool. It says that in the first instance, there's a workaround by looking at the columns in the interaction quality summary report. And you can see that it's been accepted as of the 15th of Jan. So let's just switch to an example of that report. So here, if you run the evaluation, you can see that on the agent, you can see that the agent has actually reviewed the feedback. So that's really the workaround at the moment. If you run that summary report, you can see that the agent has acknowledged the evaluation. And really, you know, you've got some great tools within Genesys Cloud. For example, you might want to add in a small process there just to use Collaborate. and just to get the agent internally to ping you a message if they've got any feedback or questions around that until the actual feature comes out fully blown in the product. So hopefully it helps, Jason.
So JJ, I know it is your first time on the show today, but you're about to meet one of the most popular contributors. Allow me to introduce you to Ming over here. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Ming has, I think, set the record for number of questions featured on the show. He pops up, I want to say at least half of the episodes. It's really impressive. We love that he keeps stretching the capabilities of what he's trying to do with Genesys Cloud. It's really cool. So thanks again, Ming, for being a part of this. We hope these answers are helpful. Ming wants to know today about predictive dialing with SalesForce. They write, "Hi, wondering if anyone could answer my question with regards to running campaign in predictive dialing mode with SalesForce integration. Currently, we have agents dedicated to the campaign waiting for calls, but yet the abandon rate is high at 7%. As indicated on the Resource Center for Predictive Dialing, the first point actually indicates to, quote, set a stage action in the outbound script to predict when the agent will finish the current call." I'm assuming the quote ends there. "As our agents are updating Salesforce while on the call with customers, it's rather cumbersome to switch between Salesforce workspaces and the script screen. So here's his question. Has anyone had a good campaign results with predictive dialing with integration to Salesforce? Do you do away with the Pure Cloud outbound script? If so, can you share how you do it? Thanks a million in advance for sharing any experience or ideas that you may have." So what do you think, JJ? It's a deep question. He provided a lot of background. Any advice for him?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that spring to mind there. So first and foremost, I'm curious to know how they're measuring their abandon rate. So the abandon rate must always be measured over the full shift period, the whole day. Often we do see abandon rates being quite low just at the start of the day. So I guess Meng is looking at the end-to-end day on that report. But then there's a couple of factors that can actually influence those numbers, which I think I need to go into. And also the third question would be around utilizing SalesForce. So it's interesting that he's using Genesys Cloud and SalesForce, and he may or may not be aware that we've actually got a full integration for that. Mm-hmm. So let's just share my screen a second. And just want to make sure you can see my screen there, yeah?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So where do I start? I think first of all, let's go to Campaign Manager. So if I go into Admin and go to my Campaign Manager for outbound, you'll see that I've got a couple of campaigns here, and we've got an outbound campaign at the top. And if we go into there, I'm hoping this is the right place. So I'm looking at a preview dial here, Matt. If I just change this to predictive dialing, he was using, wasn't he? So yeah, predictive dialing gives us a couple of extra options. Now, first of all, let's make sure the abandon rate on this campaign is where it needs to be. Often if that abandon rate is too low, that's going to obviously skew the figures for him. And also the number of outbound lines need to be factored in as well. Now, by default, that's blank. And what that means by default, if you've got, say, 5,000 numbers in your campaign, right, your outbound dialer is just going to get those numbers and start pushing them through to your agents with no restriction whatsoever, other than maybe a stage timer, not so much timer, but the stage set that he may have running in the script. So you can control that by specifying the outbound lines. Now, this is nothing to do with how many lines you've got connected to your Genesys Cloud org. This is simply a way of controlling how many calls can be pushed through to agents at once. Fine example of this would be if you've got 10 agents, you probably want to set outbound lines to something like 20. So those outbound scripts are executed, or the numbers are executed and dialed out in a controlled manner. So it's really about balancing these two numbers. Make sure your abandon rate is achievable based on the numbers that you've got to dial and the agents you've got to work with, and also restrict how many calls can be initiated all in one go by specifying the lines here. So I think that's two key components. if you're going to stick to using the Genesys Cloud script. Now, within the script itself, if I just go back here and specify my script, the script relates to the agent script. So when this executes an outbound call, what we're seeing here, Matt, is the information that the agent will read from and use within the script. You can have a thing called a stage set. And if you've got multiple screens, which I have here, okay, you can see I've got 3 pages of the script to work with as an agent. What you do is you set up a trigger to show the predictive dialer when you've got through to each page. And then predictive dialer will take that into account and work out an average across that whole workflow. And it'll work out an average work time for this call to take place end to end, and use that in its prediction to start dialing the next call, because it's trying to predict that I've finished this interaction and then deliver that call it's just dialed to me. Hopefully roughly at the same time that when I terminate this call, another call will come in. Of course, if it doesn't come in and I'm getting bombarded, that's when you're going to get lots of abandon rates if you're not controlling those lines and the abandon rate figures in the previous screen. So it does work hand in hand. Now, let's make sure that this, if it's not needed, let's switch off that parameter. So if you simply right click on your page and go into properties, you will see a page load indication. Now, normally this action, will be set in here under outbound as a stage, as a set stage trigger. And you literally just call it a name, say page 1. On the next page, page 2, page 3, and you call that action when you move between the pages. And that's what enables Predictive Dialer to know where you are in your script if you're using multiple pages. So if you don't want to take that into account and you feel that it's better for you to work out just a general average based on your call rates, just make sure that all these are deleted, and you simply click the X to delete that. So if I just delete, for some reason it's not updating, that's good. I have deleted it, sorry. So it says now no action selected, which means there's no set stage set, and you literally just save and republish that script, and that will take effect instantly. And then what will happen is, as the predictive dialer pushes calls out to the agent and the agent answers and gets connected, over time it will examine the average handle time for each call and work out what your prediction dialing rate should be based on that that workflow. So that's one other way of helping Predictive Dialer know when to push out the next call to an agent. However, ultimately, if you're using SalesForce, you don't need to handle or touch Genesys Cloud at all, because within SalesForce here, we've got an embedded soft phone. And within this embedded soft phone, Matt, men could actually access all his outbound calls and all his interactions straight from this screen. And if I just quickly give you an example, in the hamburger menu, I can control what my agent is doing. And in this menu, or by clicking the availability here, I can switch my agent into availability modes: on queue, off queue, busy, away, breaks, on and so forth. So first of all, let's make sure my agent is not on queue. Let's go into the hamburger menu and go to more. And in more, I'm going to activate this agent to be in an outbound campaign. Now, it is a preview campaign, but it's going to work in exactly the same way. Just in the predictive method, you just won't get the chance to preview the call. It will just dial the call out and deliver it to an agent. So I'm going to enable the outbound sales here. So you can see that I've got queues active for me as my agent, and other queues available but inactive. So let's activate this outbound queue and submit. And then if I go on queue, I'm instantly going to activate this campaign. You can see now I'm being alerted. This is a predictive dialer, let's say, delivering the call to me. I'm going to answer that call. I needed to be quicker, Matt. Okay, I've now answered that interaction, and you can see in the background it's actually screen popped. So it's recognized that the number being dialed is relevant to Christopher here. So this is seamless integration here for WEM using the predictive dialer. And from there, you can carry on updating your SalesForce notes and so on and so forth. All that content will be stored in SalesForce, including the call recording and so on and so forth. So it's a great way to access and use outbound dialing within Salesforce there. I'm not going to go into any other detail there, but of course, if other information is required, then reach out to us in the community, and Matt, I'm happy to help out with any further questions off the back of this. I'm actually going to just change my agent to available, so go off queue and skip that call. So I'm now back to an idle state. So hopefully that helps. A couple of methods there. One is you could go into Pure Cloud. Sorry, that's up here, and change those parameters relating to your campaign and script, or more importantly, move away from using Genesys Cloud scripts altogether. Use Genesys Cloud to make and manage your campaign and make calls, but put the calls seamlessly into Salesforce. Two things to remember: you do need to log into Salesforce and buy a license for the integration, but otherwise you're simply good to go. You just simply on Genesys Cloud, go to the App Foundry, download the Salesforce integration, and men will be cooking with gas and using Salesforce seamlessly in Genesys Cloud. So
Awesome.
Hopefully that helps.
I know we wanted to keep answering questions in the community just a little short this week, because you had another segment that you wanted to do, which I think is something we used to do in the show, but for various reasons it got dropped, and we're going to revive it. And I'm talking about the Newsflash segment, which some of you may remember from, I think it was last year we did the last one. But the great thing about JJ is now that he's on board and he's getting trained up, this is something that you think you'll be able to do every month for the show. Is that correct?
Yeah, Matt, I think it's great. And I know you've said in the past that the community really love those updates. So I think it makes sense to add them to the community. The Newsflash is going to basically cover the most important topics that you and I feel are most appropriate to the community to evaluate and look out for the month ahead, all relating to Genesys Cloud and the whole portfolio.
Why wait? I'm excited to hear what all is in store for July. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Are you ready to do your first Newsflash?
Yeah, let's go for it. Hey guys, JJ here, coming at you with a Q&A news flash for the month of July. Yes, we've got some exciting topics for you to look out for this month. First of all, let's kick off with predictive engagement. Now, predictive engagement was updated last month and now has a new user interface. This gives the agent more flexibility around what they can view in the space that they work with on the screen. And you'll now see widgets from top to bottom in that new update. Also in that update, in the month of July, we'll be tying in conversational journey events and third-party events. So look out for predictive engagement being expanded into other areas of Genesys Cloud, and the custom events will actually allow you to incorporate your third-party platforms into those journey events. So that's a really exciting release that's coming your way from Genesys Cloud. You may recall last month we incorporated outbound SMS into our SMS capabilities. We've had a few questions around what SMS versions we can support and which different regions support which types of numbers. So we support shortcode SMS. Shortcode SMS is a 5-digit number that's provided to you from Genesys, and it could be just a randomized number that you can use for your campaigns, or it can be a vanity version. So a randomized number is just a number that you use for your campaigns that you can push out your campaign with and people can reply back to. The vanity number, however, is a number that we can give you, and it's rather like a special number that using your DTMF keypad can equate to something more meaningful. So when you send out literature or when you send out your campaign, you can ask the person to reply using that name. Now, for example, if you're a spa and you push out some publications or you push out an SMS campaign, you can simply say, want to find out more? Then send an SMS to relax. And that word relax is the actual vanity number, but we transpose that into or translate that into the number scheme of 73529, which is the DTMF format back in Genesys Cloud. Now, from a region perspective, we currently support shortcode SMS in Canada, United Kingdom, and the US. In Canada, we support the shortcode SMS in the vanity variety. In the United Kingdom, it's SMS randomized numbers only. And in the United States, it will be vanity and randomized format. So those are the three regions, and those are the two variations we currently support. This is going to get bigger, this is going to expand, and we hope to then expand it into long form SMS as well. Now, you may recall that our workforce engagement management product was updated just recently, and now you can schedule up to 6 weeks in advance in your in your contact center. We've now introduced a wonderful feature that when your supervisor publishes your schedule for the work in 6 weeks, you can now incorporate that into your third-party device. So we've now given you the ability as an agent to go into My Performance and scan the QR code on your Android or iOS device, or take the URL and the codes relevant to your PC or Mac and incorporate the calendars there. Now, this, from an agent perspective, is really, really cool, because this allows you now to look at your 6-week schedule away from work in your own device. So I think that will really help with knowing what's coming your way from a work perspective, but also organize your social and family life around those work commitments as well. So great update to our workforce engagement management, or our WEM product. Now, everybody's talking about AI, and you know here at Genesys, we love AI. We work a lot with AI, and we incorporate AI into nearly every computation and evaluation that we use within analytics. But we also incorporate AI from a chat and a voice perspective from many, many platforms. We incorporate into Genesys and AWS with ease. We also support integration with Microsoft and things like Watson. So, you know, AI is very agile within Genesys Cloud. However, I've got the exciting news to announce that as of mid-July, target date is mid-July, we are going to release our own AI technology. This is what we call Genesys Dialogue Engine. From day one, it's going to support chat only, and all customers can access this, either new or existing, through a pay-as-you-go type of concept. Then furthermore, if you want to expand on that and use it on a more regular basis, you just need to have GC2 or GC3 licensing in place, which of course is the license you require for chat or the digital channel anyway. Now, straight off the bat, it's going to support many, many, many features, but here's just a snapshot: intent clarification, slot recognition, knowledge bot integration or knowledge base integration, supervised learning, and also bot health check. Now, this is quite an interesting tool. Bot health check will enable the bot to self-analyze itself and look at the way it's being used and decide whether or not it's working in the most efficient way. So just this little snapshot of features there. Many, many more than that are going to be released in the month of July, and it's definitely something you need to be playing with at least and getting to know, because by the end of the year, we'll also incorporate voice, giving you the entire digital and voice interaction capability to be driven by Genesys Dialogue Engine. And of course, from a third-party perspective, we are going to really smooth out the way that you incorporate those engines if you wish to. We are going to incorporate those into Genesys Cloud in a form that Genesys Cloud would become your central point of orchestration. So look out for that too. Now, just finally, I'm going to close off with a strategic update. There's been a lot of talk around edge support just recently, and I just want to point out where we're going as a business. And this is all driven by customers and where customers want our platform to evolve to. So lots of customers are now coming to us and wanting to bring their own cloud telcos. So bring your own cloud and premise options need to become more agile. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to incorporate, first and foremost, a global media fabric. And this media fabric will allow you to incorporate SIP cloud to SIP cloud connectivity. So you'll be able to bring your own SIP cloud connectivity into Genesys Cloud using a form of an interopt, which will give you greater flexibility and ease to incorporate your own cloud telcos, SIP trunks into Genesys Cloud. Of course, you can still buy Genesys Cloud own SIP trunks, what we call Genesys Cloud Voice, but also then we're going to incorporate what we call a new hardware fabric. Now, this new hardware fabric will allow better support for on-premise SIP terminations using our own in-region SIP and hardware options. So those are the two core factors that we're currently building out and we're currently focusing on. So hopefully that will give you a better understanding around how we're going to support Hyper-V and VMware and on-premise type of technology moving forward. More information will be made aware as and when this technology evolves, but I just wanted to give you an idea of that's the update currently around edge servers and the route that we're moving. So I hope that's been a really handy update for the month of July. As ever, do reach out to the community if you need to know more about those topics. Otherwise, for now, thanks for watching. I'll hand back to Matt so you can enjoy the rest of the show.
All right. Thanks so much, JJ. Now let's check in with Marcela to hear about the WEM contest going on. Hey, Marcela, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. I understand you have a contest going on in the WEM side of things. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Yes. So last month, we got a new feature release, really exciting. It's called Coaching and Quality Management. And to celebrate, we are doing a contest, which is a scavenger hunt. So people can participate and they can win one of 3 Genesys Beyond technical exam vouchers, which is really exciting.
Oh, that sounds great. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about the feature?
So basically, what coaching and quality management allows supervisors to do is to access these sort of little buttons and schedule their coaching. And this sort of gives them access to the schedule, their agent's schedule and their own schedule to set up a date. It also allows them to add in documentation or take notes, which they can keep for themselves or even share with the agent, so that everything is really sort of streamlined and processed and stays in one same place. And you directly come from sort of the recording or your quality scoring page and then go straight into, oh, this person needs help here, and pretty much just streamlines that process.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. So the scavenger hunt is all around just making sure people have the right tools to understand exactly what this is, like the right, knowledge at their fingertips, so to speak. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome.
So the idea of the scavenger hunt is to make it a little bit more dynamic and have our community members go look for the information, but as well to learn and just get all this info, great info about not just coaching and quality management, but quality management in general.
Cool. Can you maybe walk us through what the scavenger hunt looks like?
Yes. So we have some basic rules and guidelines. The idea is we are giving you a list of items, which is basically content pieces for you to find. And these include sort of like a video about coaching and quality management, the discussion, just different stuff you can find in the community and beyond. And the idea is for our members to sort of send us back what they find, which can be like bullet points, links. There are also chances to get bonus points. Each one of these has sort of a point assigned to it, but you can get bonus points by telling us a little bit about what video or what the content is about. And if you are hanging around the WEM community, you might also run into what we're calling Tip-Off Tuesdays, which is every Tuesday we are setting up a little discussion to sort of give a little hint for some of the items. In case you don't know where to start or you just want a clue, these are just really helpful to get you there. We started the contest back in the 17th of June, and we are going all the way through the end of July. So we're closing our entries on the 30th of July, and we will be announcing the winners on July 31st.
Okay.
And of course, most important, what do you win? So we are giving away 3 Genesys Beyond technical exam vouchers.
Gotcha.
To, the community members who give us sort of the most complete list with the bonus points, of course. So it is point-based. You don't have to have all of them to participate, but it just helps to rack up more points.
Gotcha. So to make sure I understand, when you say points, are you saying whoever has the most points at the end of the contest will get the voucher? Or like if you have 7 points, do you get like 7 tickets for the drawing, and then 3 people will be rewarded, something like that? Can you explain that?
Yes. So each of the items is assigned a point value. We will be tallying up, and then we will award to the 3 people with the most points.
Gotcha.
And if we have a lot of people with the same point, then it'll be just a matter of who submitted first.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So how do people submit the items that they find in the scavenger hunt to your team? Is it an email? Do they post in the community? What do they do?
Okay, so for this, we've set up, just to keep things clean, an email address. If you scroll down on that discussion post, we have a little image with a link to the email. Okay. It's real simple. It can be bullet points. It can be links. Just as many of the items that you can get to us, and we will, of course, review and decide the winners, which we will announce on the 31st of July.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see how the contest turns out. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, everyone, that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback. Drop us a line in the community, or feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. Again, that's simply the letter Q, the letter A, show@genesys.com. Please let us know how we can help you in your adoption of Genesys. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our host and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Did we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys online community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the Helpful Links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you. We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers!